what needs to be true for Gauteng to transition effectively into a high-performing economy?
Thank you so much, and thanks for the opportunity. Let me also add my voice in welcoming our Deputy President and everyone that is here. We just have to do the basics.
Sure.
We just have to do the basics and level the playing field and ensure that everyone is comfortable to come to Gauteng and do what they need to do. And I always say, if you are the epicenter of crime, epicenter of lawlessness, epicenter of destruction of infrastructure, no one will come to invest here. So it's extremely important that the basics are done, but most importantly, we build the capacity of the state, because it is the state that must drive these opportunities. It's the state that must enable environments that will make people to come and make a meaningful contribution. That is why I'm excited with the number of people that are here. I'm excited with the pledges that were made last year. I'm excited with the rollout of those pledges. It means that you are doing something right, and for that we are very grateful. That's how you push an economy, and that's how you ensure that everyone plays their own role. Just do the basics, and the rest shall follow.
Let me push you a little bit on that, Premier. If there were 3 basics that you feel are non-negotiables that we should be doing better in Gauteng, what would those 3 basics be?
I always tell the people that government must do what government must do. And our function is nothing else but public good. If we don't do what public good should do, then the private sector will take over because the state is not pushing where we need to push. I want to start with the first one, which to me is very key and very fundamental. It's skills development.
Sure.
If we can't have the next generation that will provide the skills that are needed by the private sector, that are needed by the public sector, forget. That is why education plays a very key important role. Secondly, ensure that infrastructure is what we need to do, because it's the infrastructure that drives the economy.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the executive mayors of 2 important cities, Johannesburg and Tshwane, are here. Because if we don't have the basic infrastructure, if people want to build a factory, they must not struggle to get water. If people want to build a factory, they must not struggle to get electricity. If people want to build opportunities that will prosper, they must not struggle to get the basics from our municipalities. So infrastructure becomes another area that we just have to ensure that we get it right. Thirdly, is the capacity of the state. And
Sure.
I'll emphasize that point, because if you can't have the capacity to respond to the needs, why invite people to your table? It's only when you have the capacity to respond to their needs, direct their needs, protect their needs, and show them the path, we will be in a position to ensure that we expand. So those basic things, to me, are extremely important. And I'm excited that if you see the team that we have amassed, that is working extremely hard, and check the number of investments that are going to be announced today, you can see that we are going somewhere, because we need just to take Gauteng to the next level. And we do so, then we'll be in a position to take South Africa to the next level.
You've made a beautiful link to my next question, which was really to connect Gauteng to the South African ambition, and from there to the continental ambition. And the golden thread, it seems, across all of these is that we are pushing for a higher growth path. Talk to us a little bit more about that, Premier. Maybe bring into the conversation the Gauteng plan, which really is at the epicenter of our conversation this morning.
A month ago, we unveiled our growing Gauteng plan. And we deliberately named it a Gauteng city region, to say it's not about our province alone. You bring municipalities, but at the same time, contribute to the priorities of the state of our country. Because those 3 priorities are very important: to grow the economy, build the capacity of the state, eliminate the cost of living, but most importantly, ensure that the stakeholders that are going to make things possible to us, their demands and their aspirations are met. So our strategy of growing Gauteng, we've got almost 6 pillars, but the key one, which is the innovation part, the ICT part, the infrastructure growth part, and the skills development part, will assist us to reposition our province to contribute to the growth of our country. Remember, if Gauteng can't grow, it's extremely difficult for South Africa to grow.
Sure.
And if South Africa doesn't grow, our continent will not grow. So the interrelations of these important segments of our society must be harnessed, must be supported, but at the center of everything is our skills revolution. Skills of the future allow innovation to prosper, and emphasize the key issue, which I always emphasize, is that Stone Age didn't end because that generation ran out of stones. Stone Age ended because new ideas were planted. We have to be the hub of new ideas. We have to be the hub of innovations. We have to be the hub of attracting new ideas, new investment, and this forum has created and laid a very strong foundation, and it's very, very important that for us, we take it just to the next level.
Premier, I think that's, firstly, I would expect a round of applause. I think that your responses are really, really spot on. We're going to get the energy up as we go along, but what you've done beautifully is just shine the spotlight on the pillars for us and then highlight almost what I would describe as some of the priority pillars.
Yes.
The plan also speaks a lot about capital formation.
Yeah.
And for me, I would imagine that there has to be a commitment to doing something differently in order to realize the capital formation that we are chasing. What can we expect that is going to be fundamentally different from the way we've done things before?
You will see, I think we'll be the first province, and I'm glad that MEC Maile laid that foundation. We will be the first province to run with public-private partnership. It has worked. There's a huge investment that was made almost 15, 20 years ago on the Gautrain. It was 26 billion. As I'm speaking to you now, it's hovering around 48 billion rand. It's now in the hands of. We want to expand that.
Yeah.
And in expanding that, we intend to create almost 150,000 jobs. But we also want to bring new innovative infrastructure realignment. We need a speed train to go to Limpopo. We need a speed train to go to KZN. We also need to level up our infrastructure in terms of roads. You will see our new master plan, road master plan, transport master plan. It harnesses the new form of transport that we really believe that will unlock opportunities. But we also want to take advantage of the growth of other provinces that are closer to us. There is no way that Rustenburg in Northwest can grow to Mafikeng. It has to grow towards Gauteng. And there's no way that Sasolburg in Free State can grow to Bloemfontein. It must grow towards us. Limpopo as well must grow towards us. So we want to harness and take advantage of that so that we can be a city region that has the capabilities to influence the growth of our neighboring provinces, and we can source the benefits out of that. So this is the approach that we think is proper, and we really believe that those that are here now will share the same ideas with us,
Yep.
but most importantly, sharpen it through our private-public partnership, because the private-public partnership have been made easy by National Treasury. Anything less than 2 billion does
Yeah.
not have to go through a red tape. As the province, we can take a decision immediately. You will see, we'll be making lots of announcements of the triple Ps that we want to take to the next level in our province.
Premier, as you speak about the possibility of the other cities
Yep.
Nationally growing towards Gauteng, the natural question that comes to me is to say, and at what point do we begin to look at those city-region connections with the rest of the continent, firstly within the region and then the rest of the continent? MEC Maile spoke about the African Continental Free Trade Area, and of course, a big challenge is how do we make sure that this is not just an agreement, but is realized in real relationships at city-region level as well. What is your view on the kind of progress we should be pushing for in that regard?
The continent is calling. We have to take advantage of that. And I'm excited that the executive mayor of Tshwane she has been elected to be part of that. We share, we are the secretariat of the conglomerates of African cities. We are playing that meaningful role. So Africa is open for business. But you don't just open for business. You deposit ideas. You deposit innovation. You deposit creativity. But you also bolster relationships, because you can't do that if you bully people. You can't do that if you think you are superior. We do that when you say we are one, we are together, we have a shared vision, and it's out of that shared vision that we can grow our continent. We are quite excited with the opportunities that the African continent is creating. We want to play that meaningful role because we are at the center of it. If we don't do it, no one will do it.
Absolutely, and I'm reminded as you speak about those relationships out of South Africa with the rest of the continent, that we often get described as a big brother, and it is a consciousness not to brother as much as you are big, and not to actually choose one or the other when it suits us best. Let me come to the question of industrialization, or reindustrialization rather, because I would imagine that this is a conversation that is alive across the continent. The plan is also very clear that this is central to building a high-performing economy. Talk us through what we can expect from a reindustrialization push, some of the changes or projects that we can anticipate.
I'm truly excited about that, and I'm glad that the Minister, Pakstar, will be here in the afternoon just to unpack it deeply. But you will see the number of special economic zones that we are now launching in our province. We have concluded the one of OR Tambo. We are now getting the go-ahead in terms of the Val SEZ. We are looking at the Lanseria one. And the Pretoria one, this one has been a model for the country. And if you can check, of all the special economic zones that we have across the country, is the one that are in Gauteng that are functional. Is the one in Gauteng that have really met the desired outcome. So as soon as the Minister comes later on to unpack our industrial strategy, our pact, and the way that we want to push the industrialization of our province, you will see that indeed we are making a huge dent in that regard.
Thank you very much, Prem, and we certainly do look forward to that conversation with the Honourable Minister. One of the things that have been said at the stage already, and I'm not sure if it was the Executive Mayor or the MEC, the emphasis on people, that this is not a conversation just about capital and transactions. Essentially, this is about people. And so there are two things that come to mind with regards to that question. The first one is if we look at Gauteng spatial inequality and how that becomes a central bottleneck that needs to be addressed so that we can reimagine that spatial inequality in the province. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, but also how do we ensure that even as we push for higher growth, that remains inclusive as it has been the drumbeat of what it means to be South African for the longest time?
I'm on record that I get easily excited when people want to come to Gauteng. I know many government departments fight to say our schools are full, hospitals are full, and many other things. I get excited. It means people prefer us. And if they prefer us, we just have to plan appropriately. And we must attract those that will also create opportunities. We must attract those that will build the province. We must not only attract those that need to get something out of our province. So I get highly excited, I must be honest, when people say, I want to come to Gauteng. So we are not ready to put a poster at the entrances of Gauteng and say Gauteng is full. Gauteng will never be full. We want our people to come here to create opportunities. And if people choose our schools, it means that we are providing quality education. If people choose our hospitals, it means we are providing quality health care. What we need to upgrade and populate is our planning capabilities, so that we are not caught off guard with this number of people that now we have an idea of how many people wants to come here. And people drive economy. People drive opportunities. I was meeting with the provincial commissioner to say there are two cities that if we can get them to be a 24-hour cities. I mean, Sandton is our is our economic hub, is our economic market. We're hosting Live Golf. We had almost 100,000 coming here. They asked me, Premier, where can we go after golf? They came to Sandton. The shops were closing. That's not, you don't push economy in that particular fashion. You go to Midrand. It's a cosmopolitan city of young people. But after 7 o'clock, all entertainment places are closed, purely because we are scared of crime and others. So the ability to manage people, the ability to support, the ability to create centers in which they will feel that they are welcome in our province, to us is a very important approach that we have. So people push economy. Let's channel them to appropriate centers and ensure that they are safe and they are supported and that the economy can start to pump. We want to be the home of big matches, the home of big events. G20 demonstrated. I mean, after G20, you will see the investment that was left behind. We now have Live Golf. We've signed Live Golf to come back again. There is a popular motorsport that people have been yearning that it must come to South Africa. I'm leaving with the Minister of Sport in 2 weeks' time to go and lobby. And hopefully, if we win, it will be the first time that it comes back here in our continent. And these are kinds of events that we really believe that push the economy.
So two quick questions, Premier, just before we wrap, because you've spoken about state capacity quite a lot. And capacity is important, but coordination is probably equally important. What do you think needs to change in how we currently are coordinating across departments and government departments in particular to ensure that we are singing from one hymn sheet and there is an alignment in terms of where we're all going and what we want to get out?
It's joint planning and joint budgeting and capacity to monitor. So intergovernment relations, and it has improved. I'm grateful to the executive mayors that are here. It's a demonstration that intergovernment relations works, because if we can't plan together through the TTM model with national government, if national government does not know where we are going, and if local municipalities are not aware where we want them to go, then we'll not have a system of governance in our province. And I was excited to hear the executive mayor of Johannesburg to say that eliminating red tape, because it's municipalities that must convert all the pledges that are going to get them. Because if municipalities can't give that support, then we're not going to be in a position to give that support as a province. So IGR, intergovernment relations, but most importantly, the ability to plan together, the ability to paint a picture of a new Gauteng that we want, that can be shared by everyone, is the way to go. And I'm quite excited that thus far we're doing exceptionally well with all the institutions that we have in our province.
And of course, this conversation would be completely incomplete if we didn't pull in the role of the private sector as you see it. I love the language, I even called it poetic, that MEC used, this idea of a structured opportunity. Where are the structured opportunities for private sector to step into a lot more aggressively, a lot more actively? How do you see private sector really becoming a fuel behind some of the things that we've spoken about today?
That's the lifeblood of opportunity. That's the lifeblood of growth. That's we want to create an environment where we are the preferred destination. And you can see from the pledges that were made during the Presidential Investment Conference, the pledges that are getting here, that people want to come to Gauteng. The only thing that we need to do is to create an environment to be conducive for those opportunities. And to have all the MECs that are here and the executive mayors here, it's a demonstration that we are ready to make business, we are ready to interact, and where there are blockages, we are also ready to ensure that the infrastructure is ready to accommodate opportunities. And I want to thank them for coming, and I want to thank those that have made pledges. I want to thank those that are coming from the second time. We are here to grow Gauteng together. And if we grow Gauteng, we definitely grow South Africa.
Premier, thank you so much. I don't think we could have ended that conversation on a better note. A very big thank you, Premier. Yes, we can get